What's up, everybody? Obviously got the group together again, and yep, probably gonna be doing this for a while, so it's probably get used to it. We got another review. This one's for another A24 film, which is written and directed by Sebastian Lilio. Sorry if you butchered that. It's just how it is.
It's okay.
And it stars Julianne Moore and John Torturo. And honestly, like, I really wasn't dying to see this film. This was a film that, yeah, like, it's from A24, so everybody knows who watches my channel that I really do love A24 a lot. But the subject matter itself just didn't really entice me, and I was like, yeah, I think I can wait for that. But these guys kind of wanted to see it more than I did, if I'm not mistaken.
I've had my eye on it for a while.
So we decided to see two films today. We saw The Beach Bum and Gloria Bell. This is just a Gloria Bell review, so if you want to watch the Beach Bum review, that'll probably be at the end screen of this. So if you want to check that out, check that out. But Gloria Bell. So if I had to give just thoughts on it in terms of what I expected from it, I didn't expect much out of it, but I feel like I definitely enjoyed quite a bit of it. There's a lot of aspects of this film that I personally enjoyed and found myself liking. I obviously do have some problems with it here and there, but overall, like, I gotta say, like, as somebody who really wasn't excited to see it at all, I actually found myself enjoying it for the most part. Anybody else want to chime in?
Do you want to go, Perry, or?
You can go first.
All right.
Well, I mean, I don't think this is like a mind-blowing film. It's nothing like, you know, crazy amazing, but it was pretty much everything I wanted. I wanted a good performance out of Julianne Moore. I thought the cinematography in the trailer looked really good, and I thought it was pretty good in the movie. So
yeah,
it was just a really good movie. I don't know. It's
funny because it's a real kind of simple, like, character slice of life movie that deals with, like, mature content in terms of, like, what it's like to be this person at this age, at a, you know, middle-aged woman who's, like, in her mid-40s, who's just dealing with certain things but has, like, a nice, positive, like, free-spirited attitude towards life.
Right. And
it's a nice, simple movie, but also that is kind of, you know, it has some deep things to say too. So it's not a heavy watch, but at the same time, it does have some heavy subjects that are kind of expressed in a kind of a subtle way. Like, it doesn't try to go too far with certain things, but it definitely expresses some notions of these kind of issues that people who are in this stage of their life deal with, and I think it did it in a pretty subtle way, which is nice, you know, because again, like, it's a nice film that you can just watch, and you can take a lot away from it without feeling like it's so heavy on you. Mm-hmm. And sorry for the weird, creepy light that Perry's back there. He looks like a monster back there creeping. But he's a really cool guy, I promise. Do you want to go ahead and give us your thoughts on that?
I'd really, like I said, I agree with you that Julianne Moore's acting in the film was great, but I just couldn't stand a lot of, like, the cliche writing decisions they went with it. It kind of took me out of the movie. And there were some cast members in there that are really talented, like Michael Cera, and I don't think they fully capitalized and, you know, utilized certain actors and actresses to their full potential. I did like John Turturro in the film. I did think he gave a good performance. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I wanted them to do more with, like, Michael Cera. There were some scenes that really put the hook in me. But then there were some scenes that I was like, I've seen this in 1,000 films and 1,000 times, and there were some scenes that I found just straight up mundane.
Yeah, I feel like this movie is very well directed and very well acted. I mean, yeah, I don't think the writing is like, I don't think the writing's bad, but it's not, like, you know, it's not great. Like, it's not gonna blow you away in any way. But honestly, I do feel like this is a very well directed movie, and, like, at least every shot had, like, something to convey, even if it wasn't, like, you know, crazy, mind blowing, or, you know, thought provoking in a way. But
yeah, I think the strongest aspects of this movie is the directing, the camera work, and the acting.
Yeah.
The score, I personally thought the score was nice. I mean, it's nothing breathtaking, but you can tell that the score was going for a certain atmosphere and a certain style, and I did appreciate that aspect of the film as well. But I would have to agree with Perry in the sense that the writing is probably the weakest part. I'm not saying it's bad, but there are parts where some of the dialogue, it didn't really grip me, because some of it felt like it was explaining maybe a little too much in certain times, where like the moment was there and you felt the moment, but then sometimes a character would kind of say what that moment is, and it kind of would give you less of an impact. And yeah, and overall there are some kind of by the numbers moments in the movie, but honestly that stuff didn't really bother me all that much, because again, this is kind of a very slice of life movie, and it's just trying to portray like what it would be like in real life, and I think that a lot of this film accomplished that in a way. So even though some of the writing and moments is cliche, life can be cliche, so it's kind of hard to like give it, or at least for me, it's hard for me to like, be too hard on it when it comes to that. And in terms of like, honestly, I think one of the moment that I really got invested into this movie, because I'm gonna be honest, at first I wasn't too invested. Like the first like 15, 20 minutes, I was like, okay, like I don't hate this movie, but I'm not as immersed as I wanted to be. But then when John Turturro's character starts coming into the picture, that's when I started getting more invested and more concerned about the main character and even his character, because this movie hits a point where it's not clear cut and you don't know who's necessarily in the right or in the wrong, and I really love that about it. Later it kind of squashes that bug and you know who's in the right or in the wrong, but it definitely makes you think about it for a while until it kind of gives you some more clarity. And I really liked that. And again, like going back to the subject matter, I think this is a very mature movie, and I think it does a good job at, conveying a lot of the stuffs about, being this age in your life, because, just because you are like 45 years old, that doesn't mean that you share the same 45-year-old issues as everybody else. Not every middle-aged person is the same and acts the same and has the same issues. Mm-hmm. And I like how John's character kind of made it to where you kind of see that. Like, yeah, he's the same age, but he deals with his own issues his own way. He has his issues that are different from hers. And it's just, I like it because they're both the same age, but again, it makes it to where you don't just blanketly see people who are in their 40s as the same. And I do kind of like that as this, I do like that this film conveyed that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there were certain like conflicts with certain like in certain relationships that weren't fleshed out, because the focus was between Julianne Moore and John Turturro, which I can understand that should be the focus. Mm-hmm. But there were some like problems with the daughter and whatnot. There was definitely some familiar rifts between the daughter and the son and the mom that weren't fleshed out as much as they could have been. Like the divorced father comes into the film, and you would think he'd play a bigger role in the film, but he really doesn't. He's just there in one scene, which I really liked the scene he was in, the little dinner scene that was I really liked that scene.
Honestly, I think that
the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that entire sequence was probably the best scene in the movie, because it goes on for a long time and all of it just feels so purposeful.
But I don't think they capitalized on the conflict that nobody was really talking about, because you could definitely see that there was something clearly on the father's mind, but they didn't flesh it out, because you do not see the dad ever again in the film, and it kind of bothered me.
Well, for me, like, I feel like the film, like, maybe the film wanted to flesh more out, but I think it just really wanted to focus on how Julianne Moore's taking this. And
I get that, but I mean, I feel like it could have been a little bit more ensemble, and I think it would have definitely helped the film.
I mean, I can definitely see that. I mean, it didn't bother me as much, because I felt like a lot of the stuff we got at the dinner scene said a lot.
Yeah, that's
like,
how I feel.
Like with the father, like, and it doesn't, I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens, but he acts out in a certain way, like near the end, that gives you a subtle nod as to probably why they're not together anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that, because it's telling without really doing much, and I really like that.
I feel like adding more, personal like backstory, or more forced encounters between all the relationships with Julianne Moore's family. I felt like it would have been a little bit more bloated as a movie. Like it would just would have add maybe a little bit more unnecessary, like just fluff.
Well, it wouldn't have bothered me so much. Like they wouldn't have to flesh out the relationships with the family and focus more on her and John Turturro if the writing wasn't as like cliched between like Julianne Moore and John Turturro. Like I said, I don't want to give any spoilers away. There's one scene where like a character is like, someone's driving away and the other person's like banging on the window and chasing them down and everything, and it's like, God, I've seen this in like 10,000 movies. Can we please just stop with this writing trope, this writing cliche? It just really bugged me.
For some reason, like that scene didn't really bother me.
It didn't bother me
because
it annoyed the hell out of me.
Because it just seems like that happens in real life. So it's like I was willing to give it a pass because it's like, yeah, it's a trope, but it's kind of like, it's like a trope for a reason because it happens a lot, and people do come back and they do try to chase after the people that they love, and that happens. But I mean, I can still see, I can agree in the sense that I can see why you would be frustrated at it, because if you watch a lot of these kinds of movies, that happens a lot in almost every kind of like romantic drama. That scene is very familiar, so I can see that. But for me, it didn't really bother me all that much because it felt, I don't know, it felt natural, it felt real. So
yeah, I mean, this movie felt very authentic to me, at least.
Yeah, and also one thing we're going to talk about is I liked the lighting in this movie.
Oh yeah, that goes with what I was talking about with the cinematography. Like the lights in this movie were pretty beautiful to me.
Yeah, there's this reoccurring like purple light throughout the film that I thought was really nice. But yeah, I mean, I guess like just overall, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I honestly, I'm not sure like what all the critics are saying about it.
They're loving it. It has like a very high percentage on Rotten Tomatoes.
The thing is, I think the reason why the critics like it is they like movies where it's like a coming of age story for like middle age, like people, and they have to come to terms with their old age and
identity crisis type movies.
Their identity crisis stuff, and that's why I think they're praising it so much. And like I said, I don't think the critics really focused on the writing and, like I said, the cliches of it, especially how they like use cats in the movie. It's like, oh, I get it, a cat with Julianne Moore. She's
like
lonely and she may become the crazy cat lady, and that's a big fear of hers. Like, I've seen this 500 freaking times. It does not pull the same weight when you've seen it so many times done again and again. You just feel like, with the A24 film that they're better than that, that they'll do something to subvert you. But this film didn't subvert me, like, at all.
I could see that. It didn't really subvert me much either.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to say it subverted me, but
I mean, I still found myself enjoying it, though.
Yeah,
like, it
was an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I still enjoyed myself watching it, but yeah, so I guess we'll just give quick grades if you like. I guess I'll start. Coming out of it, I obviously didn't expect much from it. I didn't really want to see it all that much, but coming out of it, I found myself enjoying it quite a bit. It's got some issues, obviously, but I think it dealt with the more like mature content really well. The camera work's really nice. The acting is obviously really good. Julianne Moore is super beautiful for her age. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah, and so I guess overall I'll give this film I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Who wants to go next?
Eric.
I guess tradition I go.
Yeah.
That's the tradition now.
So, yeah, I think going into this movie, I wanted to see it, but I was skeptical because I was like, oh, maybe it is just like a very, very safe, like, targeting middle-aged women, movie, which I'm obviously not, but I still thought I'd enjoy it. I did enjoy it, and it was pretty much everything I wanted. Maybe just like maybe a little bit more chances in terms of like the story and what happens, like maybe just a little bit more drama.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was actually gonna give it a 7 out of 10 too. So
Oh, really?
7 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's definitely aspects of the film I really liked, but like I said, the writing really dragged the film down for me, and I found it like kind of mediocre overall, which I know a lot of people are going to disagree with, but that's just how I personally feel. And I felt like there was certain things about the film where I'm like, they're doing it beat by beat. I've seen this so many times, and they're doing this story beat by beat. They're following a template. They're following a formula. They didn't subvert me as much as I wanted, and they just played way too hard into the cliche. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So still fresh, technically. Technically, barely fresh.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I guess that's it. We're not going to really spoiler talk this. It's not really that kind of movie, so...
Yeah, there's really not much plot
Yeah.
to it.
Plus, we got another review for.
Yeah, we got another review for the Beach Bum, which I haven't
Right.
recorded yet, but that'll most likely be at the end screen of this video by the time you watch it, so...
Oh, check that out. Oh, please check
Yeah,
that
he's got-
out.
he's-
Oh, boy.
He's got a lot to say about the Beach Bum, so...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I would definitely stick around for that. But anyways, that's it. That's all we got to say about Gloria Bell. I appreciate you all for watching this review. Carlos, Eric, Perry, here again giving you our thoughts. Don't forget to give us a like if you really enjoyed what you saw, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more content like this.